Okay, everybody, welcome to Neverwinter. My name is Alistair, and today we're going to look at the Paladin. Now, the Paladin doesn't actually have a DPS side, but we do have the ability to do a slight little bit of a DPS rotation with the Paladin on its tank side rather than its healer side for the bit of survivability that you're going to need. Now, this is not something you're going to want to run in a dungeon. This is for campaigning, for getting through those milestones, those leveling campaigns and all that just a little bit quicker. So for the power setups, we are, first things first, we're going to go on the Justicar. Now, it loses out on 10% damage, but it gains survivability, which is really, really big. Down in the feats aren't focused really around DPS that much, but we've got Divine Precipitation, which is what I will use occasionally for just healing myself. I'll have it in the Y button and I'll heal myself every now and again. Burning Vengeance increases Burning Light, now deals up to 800 magnitude damage, damage as your remaining stamina decreases. So when your stamina is almost empty, you're doing 800 magnitude. Now, you're going to go for Divine Pursuit. Encounter powers which cost divinity now grant Divine Pursuit, causing at-wills to restore divinity. This is massive. You're going to be spending a lot of divinity, and you're going to have a really quite high burst damage on your Paladin, believe it or not. But you don't have any sustained damage. But when you're using your at-wills, you are gaining a bit of divinity back, which is helping you a lot. All right. Shields of the Gods, Divine Protector no longer gives you no longer redirects damage from the nearest ally, instead reduces damage dealt to you by 25%. This is massive because obviously you want more survivability. And lastly, Unyielding Champion, just for the survivability again, because this is mostly just going to be for campaigning. Now over here, there are a few different options that you can gain. You have got an aura, which is Aura of Wrath, giving you a little bit of crit strike. You then have an option between Composure, where you restore divinity faster, or increase the damage by 20% when there's no other party members nearby. I go Blessed Wanderer because this is for campaigning rather than dungeons, and so therefore I'm going to need as much burst damage as possible. That 20% is massive. Up in your daily powers, you can use Shield of Faith to give you that bit more survivability, along with obviously this feat down here, Shield of the Gods. But we've got Radiant Charge, which is a big sort of line AoE knockdown, which does a good bit of AoE damage. Past that, your daily powers aren't that great for doing damage, because you're not supposed to be doing damage. You're a tank or a healer. You do have Divine Judgment for a single target, which is really quite a potent single target, although it obviously lacks a bit because of the class. And lastly, we're going to have Smite doing that 1150 magnitude damage, as many times as you can fit it in with your maximum divinity. Bane for your AoE, your primary AoE, obviously that gets more powerful as your stamina gets lower. And your Burning Light, is the one where you charge it up and it does a higher magnitude as you're blocking. As you read there, automatically block attacks from in the front of you as long as your stamina remains. Stamina does not regenerate while charging. And then you got Radiant Slam for its gap closer, and Shielding Strike just for your melee attack. Now, how this will look in AoE is very, very simple. You're just going to go in. You're going to pop your burst for your shield. Not shield, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, you'll pop that one, which is your Burning Light, and then you'll use your Banes. And your Banes are how you're going to do the majority of your AoE damage. As you see here, it's not putting out much damage, and I've got quite a bit of good gear on this character. I've got Mythic Insignias, Mythic Collars, because this is one of my main characters, healing and tanking. And as you see, I'm out of divinity already in burst. But that's how you do it. You go in and you will press you'll hold this down, you'll charge it up, and then you'll just drop a load of Banes. Trying to make sure you get combat advantage if you can, off of an ally, or your companion if you're running summon companions. And it is literally just you run in and you're just doing burst damage like this. If you have artifacts, you're going to be dropping artifacts to try and help. You know, your mount powers, anything that does AoE, you know, whether you've got like flying carpet or something, magical flying carpet or school guppy mount, those are good. And you're just basically waiting for that divinity to recharge enough to use your Bane again, because your Bane is your AoE attack. And as you see here, it's pretty abysmal on the DPS side because it's not designed for it. And what we'll do is we'll now look at single target. So single target, it puts out a lot of burst damage in single target, but once again, it's not a perfect build by any means, way, shape, or form. So if I go here, I will switch to Big Beast's Hand because that's a big single target hit. This is going to really maximize the amount of damage that I can output. And we will wait for my divinity to recharge. Now you can, instead of using your Burning Light, use something like Relentless Avenger, which is a nice gap closer, especially when you're playing actually as a tank. It's a beautiful gap closer. And what I'll do is I'll drop the artifact from back here, and you can see what an artifact call looks like. It's just going to be, you're going to be dashing with Relentless Avenger, doing your smites, as many smites you can fit in, doing your daily, your single target daily, Burning Judgment, and then your Big Beast's Hand. So one, and then just popping smites left, right, and centre. Probably going to pop your daily power in about midway, daily power, Big Beast's Hand, and then more smites, and then Relentless Avenger at the end. Yeah, so that's roughly the artifact call. It's just spamming everything you've got, especially that smite. And it does put out a good bit of burst damage, but as you see, once I have finished fighting, I've got to wait for that divinity to come back, and I don't have a divinity recharge ability. Now, if I was to play the healing side, let me just pop my healing side on. Oh, I've got things on cooldown. Alright, I've got to wait for this artifact. If I was going to play this healing side of the Paladin, rather than the tank side, it does have more divinity regen stuff. However, the divinity regen stuff, you have two powers. One where you've got to stand on the little circle, circle of divinity, and one which is your going to be your sacred weapon. So these are my divinity regen things. And if I was to pop smite in place of my actual heal ability and have my maximum divinity increase, what I'm going to find is that I might be able to output a bit more damage, but I'm lowering my survivability dramatically. So sorry, let me just do this. Pop this on, and we can have a little look here. Okay, so let's get this artifact call on the way. I'm just going to quickly go here. I'm going to switch out my Shield of Faith to my Burning Daily, and I need to just lastly switch out my, if I can. For some reason I'm still in combat. Anyway, I'm still in combat, but that's fine. We're just going to go from here with as it is, even though I've got the wrong artifact on. So I would go, and I'd, first things first, cast these Divinity Regen, my daily, and I'll just pop Smite, 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 daily power, mount power, belt item, Smite, Smite, Smite. And I got an extra maybe encounter or two in that, because I've got my Divinity Regen. It's pretty negligible. I personally would not try and make a DPS side off of a healer, but you certainly can if you want to. Let me just fix my build before I forget what I'm doing. And I go to heal a dungeon and realise I have no healing powers equipped. That would be particularly bad. Excellent. Anyway, that is the Paladin. Not really a single target or AoE build for DPS, but a very potent burst damage on your single target, but it does just lack in DPS. It's really only for campaigning. Past that, it's a heal, and it is a tank, and to be honest, a very good healer and tank at that. They are very, very good indeed when it comes to healing and tanking. Anyway, that's all for now. Goodbye.